If you've ever dreamed of serving justice to someone who thought they could walk all over you, hit that like button, subscribe, and buckle in. Because this isn't just a story about candy, it's about respect, betrayal, and the sweetest revenge you'll hear today. I worked for a small business, about 10 of us in the office, a handful in the back shop, and 50 or so guys out in the field. My role was serious, all the accounting and payroll. I supervised 2 people and I reported directly to the owner. Pretty straightforward. And then, there was Karen, our receptionist. Now, you might think receptionist, nothing scary about that. But Karen? Oh, Karen had crowned herself Queen Bee of the office. She'd been there since the very beginning, back when the owner first started the company, and she made sure we all knew it. If you showed up 2 minutes late, she'd arch her eyebrow, tap her watch with exaggerated drama, and shake her head like she was your disappointed mother. And if the owner wanted something done, instead of asking me directly, he'd tell Karen, who would then stroll into my office with this smug grin, like she was a middle manager delivering the law. Need a package sent out? Good luck. If she didn't like you, it could mysteriously take days. Office supplies? Suddenly delayed. So most of us gave up and just did her job ourselves just to avoid the headache. One bright spot in the office was the owner's Costco runs. He'd bring back boxes of granola bars, chips, or candy, and leave them in the kitchen for everyone. A little treat during the day. But here's where Karen's inner goblin came out. The second a new box hit the counter, she'd practically sprint to the kitchen. One day I actually saw her, arms full of Snickers bars, scuttling back to her desk like she was transporting gold. Later that day, one of the shop guys, Kevin, came in and I told him, "Hey, grab a Snickers on your way out." He laughed and said, "Does Karen know about them? Because if she does, there won't be any left." Sure enough, I checked the kitchen. From a box of 30, only 1 candy bar left. The rest had vanished into Karen's personal stash. Now, I'm not the type to care about candy politics. I rolled my eyes and moved on. Until a couple months later. The owner calls me into his office, stone-faced, holding a letter. My stomach dropped. It was a massive tax penalty notice, tens of thousands of dollars. My heart pounded as he asked me to explain. Turns out, the state had just switched systems and accidentally sent these notices to every business in the county. But here's the kicker. Karen had gone through my mail. She wasn't supposed to touch it. She saw the notice and instead of leaving it on my desk, she ran straight to the owner, trying to make me look incompetent. For 15 minutes, my blood ran cold. My job, my reputation, I thought it was all over. Thankfully, I pulled the files, got the assessor's office on the phone, and cleared everything up. But the damage wasn't the letter, it was the betrayal. That's when I told myself, oh, now it's on. Not long after, fate handed me the perfect opportunity. Karen was out running errands for the owner. I noticed him poking around her desk, looking for paper clips. I joined him, playing innocent, and that's when we opened one of her drawers. Friends, it was like opening a treasure chest. Piled inside were 35, maybe 40 candy bars. Every Snickers, Twix, Kit Kat from the last few months. All hoarded away while the rest of us picked at crumbs. The owner froze. He didn't need an explanation. Suddenly, all those disappearing boxes made sense. Quietly, he gathered up the entire stash and laid it across his desk like evidence in a courtroom. When Karen returned, she breezed in like nothing was wrong, dropped her purse, and pulled open her drawer for her routine sugar fix. Her face went pale. Confusion. Then panic. Right on cue, the owner stepped out of his office and said, "Karen, can you come see me for a minute?" I swear, watching her shuffle toward that office was like watching a villain in the final act of a movie. Inside, she actually tried to justify it. She claimed she was owed a fair share because she worked harder than anyone else in the office. So, every time a new box came in, she just claimed her cut, which apparently was as many as she could physically carry without looking suspicious. The owner wasn't buying it. He gave her a formal reprimand and laid down the law. From now on, if he brought candy in, she had to wait a full day before she could take one. Her reign of terror? Over. But the best part? The owner took all those confiscated candy bars out to the shop guys, the people who were never on Karen's good side, and handed them out like Santa Claus. The next day, Kevin came into my office grinning ear to ear and said, "That was the sweetest Snickers bar I've ever eaten." And honestly, I couldn't have agreed more. Watching Karen's smugness evaporate, seeing her face when her candy empire crumbled, that was pure justice. She stayed quiet and humble after that. No more power trips. No more candy hoarding. Just the faint shadow of a scolded puppy every time the owner dropped a new box on the counter. Sometimes revenge doesn't need fireworks or screaming matches. Sometimes it's as simple as watching someone choke on their own greed, and realizing that karma really can taste like chocolate. If this story gave you chills, or maybe just made you crave a candy bar, smash that like button. And tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying workplace revenge you've ever witnessed? And of course, subscribe for more stories like this, because justice, my friends, is always worth the wait.